everyone?
What's up,
Evening,
Obama?
fellas.
I'm good, boys. I gotta say, I'm ready to do this Golden Wind tier list.
Isn't it technically called Vento Oreo?
Shut the fuck up, George, you velociraptor.
Oreo? Yummy, yummy in my tummy.
Nah, Joe, Oreos are hella mid. I can't lie.
Are you kidding
You did
me?
not just
you
call
actually
Oreos
say
mid,
that?
you
Oreos are
blathering fool.
goated.
Okay. I think we should do this tier list before Soggy runs out of 11 Labs quota again.
Shut the fuck up, Joe. You're not meant to say that.
Hey, my bad daddy.
Anyway, yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, yeah, so getting back on track, Vento Oreo is my second favorite part, behind part 7, meaning this list should be a lot more positive on my end than the last one.
Yeah, to be honest, George, I thought you were about to have an aneurysm by the end of that last video.
It would have been funny as fuck to watch.
Oh yeah, that's it. Let's just kill George for shits and giggles.
I mean, yeah, that's
Okay, calm down, fellas. First up is Gold Experience. This arc introduces us to our new protagonist, Giorno Giovanna, and narrates the fight between him and Luca, as well as him meeting Koichi.
Koichi?
Not this already, you
Joe,
sussy
what the
baka.
fuck was that?
Why of all the characters to bring back from part 4, why Koichi? Why not Yosuke? Bruh, I swear to God, Araki just wanted to make me cry with this shit.
Okay, George, calm down, buddy. You too, Joe. I gotta say, probably a B tier. Good introduction to our new protagonist, but Giorno isn't one of the best JoJos, so this arc is decent, I guess.
Sure, but even if Giorno isn't one of the best overall, he is really well characterized at the beginning of the part. Also, him being the son of DIO is
Giorno
cool.
is Joseph's uncle, by the way.
Why did you say that so zesty, dog?
What are we thinking about this, boys?
I think B is fair. I know Giorno isn't a super nuanced character, but I like him and his design. And I enjoy this arc.
It's an S tier, you goons. Koichi is back yet.
You know what? I'm putting it in C, just to spite Joe, so we compromise at B and not higher.
All right, that's fine. B it is. Next, we got Bucciarati is coming.
The only one here who's coming is me right now.
Why are you
Christ,
so
I can't
evil?
with this.
Anyway, I'll say that this is an A-tier arc, first proper stand battle of Part 5, between two awesome stands and users. Bucciarati is the best character in Part 5 in terms of depth.
I'm agreeing with that. I love Bucciarati, and this is a great starting battle. The interrogation part is super tense, and I love
Bro, that interrogation reminds me of Trump and E. Jean Carroll on Golly Goo, ha 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 ha.
Why did you sound so
Fuck you,
dead
Sloppy
inside?
Joe.
I want Giorno to get sloppy on me, no cap.
Holy fucking shit, no one asked, you blistering bilge rat. So, as always, I'm going to be a contrarian.
Oh, of course he is, classic George.
I think this arc is a C. Yes, Bucciarati is phenomenal and still one of Araki's best characters, but this fight is kind of boring, and I feel like the pacing is slow as hell.
George, I'm gonna shit your pants.
Pacing is
A.
just kind of a buzzword people throw around these days, but I kind of get it.
By the way, this arc is C. Bucciarati is the worst JoJo character. You guys know he's 20, right?
Joe, why is him being 20 bad? Actually, no, don't answer.
Put this arc in B and also forget that Joe just insulted the GOAT of part 5.
Joining the gang is next.
Bro, Donald, Pulpo reminds me of you. You could slap his stomach and ride the big kahuna out of here.
Damn,
just like with
Joe,
you.
You get the whole government laughing.
Joe, you didn't have to do bro dirty like that.
Okay, let's actually talk about the arc, please. I think it's an A. The reintroduction of the stand arrow is a nice bit of foreshadowing, and the actual fight is cool. I really like Black Sabbath's design.
Why? Because it has black in the name, you black ass.
We don't need any of that.
True, that ending is nuts. Giorno making Pulpo shoot himself is an amazing moment of characterization. Also, quite sure.
Why the fuck? Do you like Koichi so much?
I'm also
Oh,
thinking,
God, he's
hey,
back.
boys, this arc has loads of ramifications for the story, and Pulpo is based in Red Pilled.
I'm surprised you don't hate him, Donald. After all, he stole your title of world's heaviest man.
I hope you choke to death on Manshell's thick meat tonight, Barack.
Beautiful imagery. Mm-hmm. Yes,
I think we should drop this one in A, all round. A very solid arc.
Not as solid as Michael's rippling muscular pecs.
You're a bitch.
Next up is Moody Blues Strikes Back. I think this is a C tier, to be honest. Abakio is my least favorite member of the squad, although I do still like him. And the actual fight is kind of slow.
Yeah, as a note, we've combined some of the arcs into one. Like the mystery of Soft Machine and Moody Blues Strikes Back, to keep it concise. I think this is a B tier. It's just a cool, simple stand battle.
Abakio's backstory is a good insight into his character as well.
Really, Donald, not surprising you like the corrupt police officer you bloated fuck ass.
Wow, Joe, okay, I was actually just thinking that the part where Soft Machine stabs Giorno in the back was just like how you dug a knife between the shoulder blades of the American people. You wretched scar!
Where are y'all putting this?
D, it's a boring fight, to be honest. And my decrepit ass brain could not process the two boats on top of each other thing.
Your words, not ours.
Not surprising, Grandpa. I say we compromise at C and move on. Sex Pistols appears. Mega S tier. I respect sales drive to earn those huge money.
Those huge money? The fuck are you saying anyway? This arc is a C tier too.
Don't question my words, Joe. I have the hugest words. They're so massive. Your words aren't as huge as mine.
Can we actually talk about the arc? Why are you saying C, Joe?
I don't know. Kraftwerk is cool, but I always found Mista's stand really annoying more than anything. And it's similar to a lot of the early fights in Golden Wind. They kind of just spend a long time on one thing, building up to one great moment. But the great moment here isn't super great.
I agree with Joe. I think it's a pretty mid-arc, and Sale isn't a super memorable antagonist. The bit with Giorno is funny, and Mista is super likable, but yeah, they're just kind of on a truck for a bit.
I would put it in B, but you all are haters, I guess, so C works.
What about me? I put it in Mega S.
Mega S, you're sounding like me now, Lard S. Absolutely demented.
Fuck you. Fine. Put it in C, but Mega S is the correct spot.
What the fuck is Mega S? Jesus, man, I'm putting it in C.
Next is Narancha's Aerosmith. Ooh, I love Narancha. He is so funny and adorable.
For once, I agree, Joe. Narancia is great. His backstory is very sad. And I gotta say, the Hitman team being so focused on that Sigma grind set that they want to kill the boss is incredibly based. I might have to offer them jobs.
Offer them jobs cleaning the Cheeto dust out of your keyboard. Okay, bro. Yeah, Narancia is my favorite character in Part 5, to be honest. I really like him a lot. It's nice to get context as to why he's seemingly so stupid, because otherwise it could get grating.
Agreed. Although that bit with the spider made me cry for my mommy.
Stop choking on your mic, Joe.
Y'all are tripping for real. Narancha sucks. He's so annoying, I swear to God, and him being stupid isn't a funny or entertaining bit. He isn't cool, so this arc's ending where he has that face-off with Formaggio is lame as hell on God.
What the fucking fuck was that goofy-ass take Barack? This is an S.
That is insulting as hell that you said that Barry. No one agrees with you. Narancia is awesome, and he's the best boy. This is an S.
Agreed, S tier. Also, don't forget Formaggio and how creative this fight is. The ending is badass as hell.
I will put it in S, but you're also wrong. Narancia is terrible.
And I thought you were supposed to be the rational one. Man in the Mirror and Purple Haze, probably the most mid-arc in Part 5, and just kind of a bit of a slog to go through. Illuso isn't all that interesting, although I respect Iraqi for modeling Fugo after me with my IQ of 6,235,731.
Now that is some blatant cap.
Just like your Narancia.
I do agree about this arc being mid. I say D, to be honest.
Yeah, this arc is probably a D. Fugo gets his literal one moment to shine, but that's it. As Donald says, Illuso is the least interesting of the Hitman squad.
Illuso is good if you read Purple Haze feedback.
That's not canon, spurious George.
Grateful Dead. Now this is a long arc.
True, but its length is fine because it's a fucking S. Bucciarati. Prosciutto and Pesci are all awesome.
What would happen to Joe if the Grateful Dead was used on him? He can't become even more ancient and decrepit than he already is.
Fuck you, slobber knocker. How about you slob my knobber?
Jesus Christ, yeah, this arc is an S. Pesci gets more fucking character development in 3 episodes than Giorno does in the entire fucking part.
Bucciarati has so many cool moments in this arc. The bit where he unzips his head, where he pulls Prosciutto out of the train, and of course the iconic Arrivederci moment.
God damn, this arc is so fucking hype. Yeah, this shit gotta be an S. I love the dynamic between Prosciutto and Pesci, and Bruno really feels like the main character.
To be honest, this is a C-no cap.
What?
The Grateful Dead is too relatable, and it often haunts my dreams at night. I will never escape the cold, approaching hand of death.
Okay, Joe, stop listening to Evanescence. I'm putting this in S either way.
Babyface. This is another C, like, for real, what an underwhelming fight.
Baby, where? This is an S, Mommy?
Oh my God, what the fuck?
Yeah, I really don't like the part where Melanie allegorically rapes that woman. It's really weird and uncomfortable.
Agreed, but it seems intentional. My main issue is that it feels like the fight ends super fast. Just not much build-up or tension, and I don't know, just pretty mid...
Yeah, C works for me.
White Album. To be honest, I really don't like this arc. I think it's a bit all over the place with Mista just rushing backwards and forwards, in and out of the water, and I feel like it moves at a snail's pace. that amazing ending moment is the only thing saving it from E tier to me.
Ghiaccio is funny, though, and Mista's backstory is pretty cool and gives a good understanding of who he is.
Yeah, I think it's an A tier. I love that ending moment, especially in the anime, like, holy shit. The arc is really good, and Ghiaccio's ability is terrifying.
Okay, I'll be the bigger man in command that we place this arc in B. Feels like the best spot.
I don't
works for
agree
me,
with
lads.
that. Mystery of King Crimson, another S that I can't lie. Bruno versus the boss here is my favorite fight in the part.
No way, this arc has me rolling with how boring it is. Only 3 attacks are exchanged, I swear.
Nah, you know that's Cap Joe. Bucciarati's backstory, as well as Sword of Death, are heartbreaking, as he really is the soul of Part 5.
Agreed, S is the only spot. King Crimson is a terrifying stand, is scarier than a sleepy, creepy Joe.
And you have to mention that boat scene at the end. That shit is epic and super emotional.
It's a shame Fugo turned out to be a pussy just like Barack.
Donald, didn't you literally compare yourself to Fugo earlier?
I hate Diavolo because he tried to kill Trish and Dayum. She bad though.
Holy shit, just put it in S. It's close to perfect.
Clash and Talking Head is next. Now, Barack, this must be your favorite arc, considering Squalo and Tiziano are just like you and Mencha.
Actually, Donald, this arc is lame as hell. This makes no thematic sense coming directly after the last arc, essentially being one of the most, if not the most comedic fight in the part. Not to mention, it's a Narancia fight, and he fucking sucks.
Bitch, say that shit again, and I'll go Yemen 2.0 on your ass.
Joe cooking, to be honest, continuing to be honest, which is something I am tremendous at. Believe me, I'd say that this is an A-tier arc. The two stands work really well together, and it's actually a good use of the opposite day trope.
A tier? You ain't got nothing in your skull, you putrid pile of shit?
Well, I think a tier is a little high, but I think B is fair. Narancia is great as always. That moment where he cuts out his tongue is trademark JoJo, and Valari Villa is cool as hell.
I agree on B, George, but why are the sewers in both Narancia fights?
Oh, yeah, I hadn't noticed that.
I'll put this in F, bitches.
Okay, while I agree it's a bit jarring to go from the boat scene to this, I honestly think most of your criticisms are bullshit. Just put it in C as a compromise.
Whatever.
Notorious B.I.G. For real, the part where he pulls his Trish's boot off is so good. Them toes.
What the
Still
fuck?
nah, bro, that's sus as hell.
Anyway, this fight is lame, to be honest. Trish may be a bad kind of shoddy, but yeah, this is a pretty boring interaction.
Yeah, to be honest, I never cared about Trish. She was just super spoiled at the beginning.
Ha 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 ha. Here you go. Ladies and gents, the 45th president, Donald J. Trump, complaining about someone else being spoiled. Okay, bro.
I agree with Joe. I think this might be my least favorite fight in the part. The concept of a stand that only activates on death is interesting, but it ends up just being stupid as hell. And also, Trish stealing the Arrivederci line was not even remotely cool or satisfying.
Yeah, that was weird as hell.
You all just don't understand business. Karn is so dedicated to his boss that he was willing to die for it. What a legend.
Bro, that doesn't change the fact that the fight is stupid as hell.
Joe, you remind me of Karn, an absolute useless sack of bones who is just ready to keel over and die any minute.
Really? Yeah. And you remind me of Karn, a bloated, overweight sack of lard that acts as an actual woman repellent. Melania can't even hold your hand, little bro.
Okay, guys, calm down. I'm thinking E is a fair spot.
Agreed, it's not interesting or memorable.
Next up, we got My Name is Doppio. We're doing the anime version where the flashback is included because other than that, this is a total nothing burger.
I don't know if I agree with that, Donald. Doppio is an important character, and his misadventures are a good intro to his character. I especially like the part where he switches into Diavolo and kills that guy.
Ooh, yeah, and he saves the bug right after or something. Yeah, great characterization.
You guys are wrong, so wrong, dead wrong. This is the closest Part 5 gets to Slice of Life, which fucking suck.
Yeah, but it's not slice of life, though. The flashback, especially, is haunting and sets up a lot of mystery surrounding Diavolo.
I will admit, though, that mystery doesn't really go anywhere because Diavolo doesn't really go anywhere. I think B is fair.
Such a bad take, so crazy, so crazy.
Shut up, Donald. I think this is a B tier. Any disagreement other than Trump?
No, B sounds good to me.
King Crimson versus Metallica. Now, this is a fucking S.
Agreed. One of the goriest, most brutal fights in JoJo, and Abaccio's death is so visceral yet sad.
When Narancia cried, I cried a lot.
Nah, that was just annoying, but yeah, other than that little shit, I love this arc.
Why do you hate
The fight is
Narancia so
excellent.
much?
Both sides coming in absolutely clutch at multiple points. It's always cool to see the villains fighting.
I think he's just salty that Narancia accidentally killed Risotto. It's obviously because risotto sounds like a black man, too.
The fuck are you talking about, you racist bitch? Are you literally only saying that because he has a deep voice?
I mean, this arc has to be an S. The fight, the character, the emotion of Abbacchio's death. Goddamn man makes me cry.
I don't know, guys. I think it's a B.
George, you slut, what the fuck?
Hey.
I mean, it's just like Doppio should have been dead after the first attack. Even for Jojo, the level of trauma Doppio's body goes through is absurd. And it just pulls my attention out that he withstands all of those attacks in a row.
Nah, you gotta suspend your disbelief. Honestly, the clowniest take I've ever heard in my life.
Which is saying something coming from Captain Fossil. Did the dinosaurs have good or bad takes in general, Joe?
Shut up, you bloated out tangerine.
I mean, I do suspend my disbelief. It's a show about buff men fighting with ghosts. But in this one specific scenario, it's just too much.
Fine, I'll compromise at A, but make sure you don't sleep tonight. George, cause Infina be under your bed.
What is this arc?
This is Pronto. On the phone, I believe, essentially the history of the Arrow and a bit of downtime and the reintroduction of our boy.
George turned into Georgina there on Golly Goo. This is probably an A. Great to see the one and only Polnareff back, even if we don't know that yet. And the backstory of the Arrow is super cool to know.
No, absolutely not. This is an E. Literally boring. The only thing that happens in this arc is that Giorno forgets to turn on the VPN, and they get DDoSed by Polnareff. Boring as hell.
Captain Fatbelly Fuckus is right. I think D is more reasonable because it's not trash like George's handling of the economic crisis of 08, but it is definitely lower average.
Uncalled for, bro. I think D is a bit low, but I can put up with it. As you say, the key players are just moving around and not a lot is happening.
Fine.
Next is Green Day and Oasis. Another very long arc with two incredibly satisfying defeats. The 7-page Muda is brutal and iconic, and Bucciarati versus Secco is also a cool fight.
I mean, there's just so much to talk about in this arc. Where do we even begin? Cioccolata is probably one of the most heinous characters in all of JoJo, which just makes his defeat all the more satisfying. Giorno really clapped some cheeks that evening.
You okay there, Barack? You started stuttering like Joe after he is afflicted with brain rot for the 15th time in a single day.
Yeah, I'm all good, Lil Brody. I was actually wondering how you were. You look like Cioccolata could have been your doctor with the way your bitch ass is so deviously deformed.
That's it, Barack. Unleash your Negro rage. We all knew it was there.
Excuse me.
Ain't no way bro creamed himself on the spot. Don't get too excited talking about JoJo villains, little bro.
Can we actually talk about the motherfucking arc? Anyway, so much stuff happens. We get some epic clashes between characters, with Giorno and Cioccolata in the helicopter being a personal highlight. If I'm honest, I think the 7-page Muda is a little ridiculous and kind of silly, but it's fine. I think the fight between Bucciarati and Secco, honestly, has the more satisfying resolution than just lots and lots of punches. Not to mention that we finally see that Polnareff is back after all this time. Gotta be high for sure.
Jesus Christ, keep spitting out essays, why don't you?
Why do you think we're here, Donald? Anyway, I agree, George. We haven't even spoken about that super emotional moment in the car where Bucciarati finally reveals what's been going on with him. I would say yes. But as you said, the Cioccolata fight is unfortunately not as awesome as it could have been. I think the best bit of the fight is when they're in the fishing village before they understand who they're up against.
I guess A tier would be fair, right? It's still an epic arc, but there are just one or two things that hold it back from reaching that top tier.
I agree.
Well, speak for yourselves. I think this arc is an S tier personally, but I suppose I could hypothetically stoop down to the commoners level and grace them with not only my mere presence, but also my generosity of willing to compromise with their, frankly, lesser opinions. Look on me and rejoice, for I have granted you fleeting permission to compromise with the great Donald J. for Genius Trump.
Hey, Donald, be careful not to trip down the stairs on the way down and burst your comically huge ego.
Just drop it in A tier, Ablaka.
Fine. I'm letting that slide this time, George, but you're on thin ice. See, thin ice.
It doesn't sound like you let that slide at all. So here we got what? His name is Diavolo. It's a C tier, right? Kind of a mid-arc. It's awesome to have Polnareff back in the part, but he's been away so long, I don't feel like there's enough time to get attached again.
I see what you mean, Joe. The fact that Diavolo slaughters Polnareff so quickly is almost like a Rocky just wanted a ha-ha fuck you moment in there.
I mean, yeah, Polnareff's quote-unquote death doesn't really upset me because he's been gone for so long.
True. I think C tier is fair, however, I think this is where we should talk about Diavolo as a villain because he's very divisive. What do you all think of him?
We'll save a long conversation for when we eventually do a JoJo villain tier list, but I'm one of the people who thinks Diavolo is a very strong villain. Unlike Toru and even Dio in Part 3, he is a very present threat throughout the story from his introduction.
Agreed. He's better than Kira by a country mile.
Ain't no way George dropped some devious cap in the Discord that's too.
I like Diavolo because he's super ripped in a part full of twinks.
Wow, I think everyone needs to stop talking, especially Obamba, considering he's like a bad take magnet today or something. Let's just put this arc in C tier and move on. Diavolo's good, though.
Diavolo surfaces, aka the Chariot Requiem arc. I love this arc for one reason and one reason only.
Don't you dare say it.
Narancia dies! Oh, that shitter gets absolutely unequivocally clapped like, You know what I did when Narancia died? I laughed. I went, ha 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 ha, S tier, no mega, S tier.
Rock, you mean.
Who got Lil Bro so angry?
Oh my God, I've never seen such vitriolic hatred for anything in my life.
Says you. You popped a blood vessel over the Hayato last time. Sit down, lil bro. Nah.
Please shut the fuck up.
What the hell is wrong with that guy? Not only does he hate Narancia, he also loves this mid-ass arc. This is one of the most out-of-place arcs in all of JoJo. This is not the time for a silly body-swapping adventure.
Absolutely spitting, Joe. If you ever find yourself wanting to skip the final battle of the part something has gone seriously wrong, and the final battle of Part 5 is just such a slog that I find myself wanting to skip it every time.
Yeah, it kind of just exists, doesn't it? I feel like Chariot Requiem is a bit of a patter, like it exists to give a little time with Diavolo before he has to fight Giorno one-on-one.
Hey guys, I'm back. I think I blacked out for a second there, but yeah, all jokes aside, I think D tier could work. Not only does this feel somewhat out of place, it's just boring and a bit of a slog. And why do they have physical little sons behind their soul? I don't know, Araki was just on something.
Yeah, you're right. Let's drop it in D tier. Narancia's death brings it up from F&E though, so gut-wrenching.
Of all the characters to heartlessly slaughter, why my favorite man?
The final bit of the final battle, Gold Experience Requiem. What do we think? I feel like this one is divisive.
Yeah, not a fan. I'm in the camp that believes GER is a dumb cop-out due to how broken it is. I don't find it suspenseful at all because you see Diavolo doing all this shit after Giorno gets the Requiem, but you kind of just sit there knowing he's already lost.
Agreed. Like, oh no, the arrow has rejected Giorno. Don't be stupid. It obviously hasn't. Then he just gets the insto and stand, removing any semblance of tension from the finale. I mean, sure, it's cool to have that face-off in skip time, but like, do you really care? You know that GR is going to pull some sort of bullshit out as soon as Giorno gets it, completely destroying the actual stakes.
Well, personally, I am in the camp that really enjoys this ending. Like, yeah, you're right, no matter how you look at it, GER is a cope-out, King Crimson is just too strong. However, that doesn't mean the stakes are all gone. Diavolo is actually supposed to win that battle. We even see the vision of him killing Giorno, which surely keeps it more tense, right?
Not at all. It doesn't matter that Diavolo is supposed to win. We know he won't, just off of GR itself. Other than being faster, before they enter skipped time, all we see GER do is exactly what regular Gold Experience did. So obviously, it's going to have some sort of different ability based off of what we already saw with Chariot Requiem.
I agree with Oblaka. GR has gold in the name, which is something I have a lot of. Instant S tier.
Thanks for providing the debate with your deep, insightful opinion, Donald.
No problem.
And yeah, continuing off of George's point, it's just such an overkill. Like, no character in JoJo deserves an infinite death loop, not even Dio. It's almost like Araki was just trying to up the stakes and payoff by cramming a bunch of shit in. GER is not a satisfying conclusion to the battle.
I agree fully with Joe. It's a C tier.
C tier is low. Quite low, actually. I just like seeing the main villain get absolutely pummeled like a lil bitch, and Diavolo gets that in spectacular fashion. It's also very poetic that he initially gets killed by a drug addict. I can compromise at B, though. For real, for real.
B is way too low, but I guess if I have to, I'll accept it. Why are you guys so upset the villain loses?
We aren't upset the villain loses. It's just that he gets so thoroughly destroyed. He doesn't feel like a threat because as soon as their souls all go back in their own bodies, he does nothing but get bodied. Having him gloat so much is an artificial way of making it seem like he has the upper hand. Let's just compromise at B. We aren't going to agree on this.
No, we aren't, because you guys are just haters.
And the final arc of part 5 is Sleeping Slaves. Why does this exist? I wipe my butt cheeks with this.
You wipe the cheeks?
It exists to symbolize the importance of fate in this part, as well as JoJo as a whole. No matter what, Bucciarati, Abbacchio, and Narancia were fated to die, and that they would be set free after they did so. It's beautifully poetic if you think about it. I think A tier.
You're right, George. It's a really deep way to end the part, showing that fate has such a strong hold over everything, even with King Crimson and GER bypassing it. I think A tier works too.
I mean, I get that part, but like, Mista fighting a rock in an elevator is just lame as hell. The deeper meaning is cool and all, but there are better ways to end a part than having a flashback with a boring fight.
Completely factually correct opinion, Joe. It's boring. Who gives a fuck about fate? Fuck this. What a massive F tier to end the part with, like someone took a big stinky shit all over the end of part 5.
Calm down, Lil Bro. It's okay if your skull is too dense to understand what the point of it actually is. We can compromise at C tier, but F is absurd.
Yeah, that
C tier
works.
is fine.
Rigged.
Well, there it is, boys, our golden win tier list. I think it's pretty good, apart from the Narancia arcs being above F tier.
Speak for yourself. I think it's straight up doo-doo, dog water, butt juice, booty cheeks. I'm out! Your body?
Damn, my man got a little bit Angie.
Yeah, this list is pretty fucking cursed. I'm out.
What the hell? Why do they hate this list so much?
Probably because they got flat asses and Giorno doesn't. I'm out. I gotta look at more. Trish, hentai, see you later, you silly willy bomber.
Well, I think I see why they left now. Oh, well, I guess we'll be back for Stone Ocean later.